We are going to see what's going on here. We're not connecting that way, so we're going to connect another way. Let's see. The Cleveland Public Library Board meeting. Let's see what we're getting here. Because it's not coming that way, we're going to go another way. Hopefully I haven't missed too much of the meeting. Counting on that. I have to call it in so I can hear it. Because it's not working that way.
Welcome to Zoom. Enter your meeting ID followed by pound. Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue. You have joined the meeting as an attendee and will be muted throughout the meeting.
And
This meeting is being recorded.
I am here.
Our first up for business is the approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting and the 2021 organizational meeting of 1/21/22.
So move. Mr. Budd?
Yeah. Oh,
Mr. Seifela?
Yeah.
Mr. Corrigan? Yes. Ms. Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Mr.
Anthony
Hanson?
Butts.
Yes. And Mr. Parker? Yes.
And including in the minutes was the Joint Finance and Human Resource Committee meeting of 1/19/21 and the regular board meeting of 2/18/21.
Mr. Seifela?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan? Yes. Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson? Yes. And Mr. Parker?
And I'm sorry. I see we have a lot of this month we have a lot of letters from various pastors.
That's a
You
good
want
thing.
to look them over, or I could list them all one by one. What would you prefer?
No, I would just say there's three I want to kind of stand out. Obviously, or actually more, we've had a lot of partnerships with obviously Bishop Ward, Gary Love Missionary Baptist Church, and Trustee Kirsten could speak probably even longer about Bishop Ward and his commitment to Cleveland Public Library. But also, Pastor Gibson at Elizabeth Baptist Church has also been a strong supporter. And their letters are just, something I want you to see. Also, the fact that we are helping the Greater Hollywood Development Center in the donation. These all the letters go back to the donations that we were providing last month at Memorial Nottingham, PPE donation. So you check on those letters. They're very similar to the letters that we got last year. And then the final is a letter from a patron who goes to our Lorraine branch. We're so excited that we were hoping when many of the institutions she was trying to go to get assistance were closed. And she just sent a very warm thank you to us and to the staff at Lorraine for all their help. And so I didn't want to go through them or read them because we have so many of them. But if in your time, if you have the board, if you have a chance to look those over, please do. That all goes to a lot of hard work by our staff. Under the leadership, really, of Sadie and the work that she did to get those items distributed to everyone. And Sherry Jones, who works for did a lot of work around there. So kudos to all of them.
Thank you, Director. And please do take time and read the letters. Next order of business is the Finance Committee report. Trustee Seifela, please.
Exhibit 1 is a resolution to accept gifts for the month of February.
where the board receives gifts of monies, library service materials, technology resources, and miscellaneous non-monetary gifts from generous citizens from time to time. Be it resolved that the gifts described in the gift report for February of 2021 be accepted upon conditions connected with said gifts in accordance with Section 3375.40K of the Ohio Revised Code. So moved.
Second. Mr. Cyclone?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 2, resolution authorizing transfer of funds from the general fund to the building and repair fund. Whereas Ohio Revised Code Section 3375.40L provides for the set aside of unencumbered general fund balances at the end of each fiscal year, and be it resolved that from the general fund unencumbered balance, the set aside of $18 million be transferred to the building and repair fund for capital and technology improvements and other capital projects that include the repair, renovation, and construction of the library's buildings, and that the remaining general fund encumbered balance be carried forward for operating expenses. So moved.
Second. Mr. Cyclone?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 3, Third Amendment to the year 2021 appropriation. Whereas Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.40 provides for the amendment of an appropriation measure when necessary, be it resolved that the sums indicated on the attached Third Amendment to the year 2021 appropriation schedule be approved. So moved.
Second.
And Mr. Cyclone?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 4, resolution to enter into agreements and/or establish funding requests for E-rate Category 2 services for the E-rate funding year 2021, 7/01/21 through 6/30/22. Whereas the Schools and Libraries program for the Federal University Service Fund makes discounts available to eligible schools and libraries for telecommunication services, internet access, and internal connections. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes library management to pursue all possible discounts available to the school and libraries Universal Service Discount Program and to establish funding requests by filing the FCC Form 471, including those in excess of $25,000, and be it further resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or is designated to undertake action in order to be in compliance with CIPA's requirements by June 30th, 2022, and to execute agreements subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs for Category 2 services, including those in excess of $25,000, and the agreements executed will be presented for ratification by the Board of Library Trustees at their next regularly scheduled meeting. So moved.
Second. If I can say something here, I want to make sure that the whole board knows and the public that we would not, in the past, we were not seeking Category 2 funding because of objections to a congressional edict that required filters that we felt both were inconvenient and inhibited the free access to information for which we're so proud at the Cleveland Public Library. With hard work of our staff and improvement in the technology, it is now possible to overcome our objections, and the filters that the congressional statute requires can be implemented at the Cleveland Public Library and still preserve our values as free
free and open access to information. And so this will mean additional discounts. We always got the main E-rate discount applications in, but this is a change that we're seeking the Category 2 E-rate discounts as well, because quite frankly, the technology.
For those of you just joining in, we're live at the
efforts of staff
Cleveland
brought
Public
us up
Library
to where
Board
we
meeting
can live by our values and still be in this
in
E-rate
Cleveland, Ohio.
category. And I want to thank the staff for all their hard work on that.
Mr. Cyclone? Yes. Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Mr. Burgess?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
And I'm here.
And Ms. Ross? Exhibit 5, resolution authorizing amendment to agreement with Boston Design Partnership Incorporated and Ubiquitous Design LTD for design services for the Wyndham Branch and Distribution Facility. Whereas on September 26, 2019, the Board of Trustees of the Cleveland Public Library authorized the Executive Director to enter into an agreement with Boston Design Partnership, Inc. in partnership with Ubiquitous Design LTD, Boston, in an amount not to exceed $363,310 for the design of the renovation of the Wyndham Branch and $586,700 for the design of the Wyndham Distribution Facility, and the agreement was executed on November 4, 2019. So be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, and designee to negotiate and execute an amendment to the agreement with Boston Design Partnership, Inc. upon such terms and conditions as are approved by the Library Director of Legal Affairs, increasing the architect fee by $16,600 for a total contract amount not to exceed $1,277,439, being charged to the construction tax-exempt fund account 4027110-4279905-55300 construction improvement, and further authorizing entering into such other documents or instruments as are necessary or appropriate to effectuate the amendment in accordance with this resolution. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butt?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclone? Yes. Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker? Yes. Trustee Cyclone, before I move on, Trustee Corrigan, you asked at the Finance Committee what the percentage was for the cost for the architect.
Yes.
And Terry threw that number together, and I did it on my phone right now. It was 9.5%.
Okay, that's great.
Oh, that's good.
I appreciate the oversight.
Exhibit 6, resolution authorizing agreement with Enterprise FM Trust for purchase and lease of vehicles. Whereas on December 18, 2014, the Board of Library Trustees authorized the library to enter into a 60-month agreement with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease, maintenance, and management of 12 vehicles. And be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, and his designee to continue the 12-vehicle lease initially authorized to the lease board on December 18, 2014 on a month-to-month basis at the rate of
I've been attending board meetings before Pastor Gibson was ever involved in them or any other pastors. I see they singled out Pastor Gibson.
Account 12053-53510 rental lease, where the vehicle number be further resolved that the Board of Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, as designated, enter into a lease and maintenance agreement with Enterprise FM Trust through its attorney, in fact, Enterprise Fleet Management Team, for 15 new vehicles for a period of 60 months, with the expenditure being charged to the general fund account 12003-53510 rent lease
is to execute such other instruments or agreements as are necessary to fund this vehicle and its currently needs from enterprise. The executed agreements will be presented for ratification by the Board of Library Trustees at their next regularly scheduled meeting. So moved. Second.
Ms. Butt?
Yes.
Mr. Seifela?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 7, resolution to amend agreement with Peter McElwain LLC, consulting services. Whereas on February 20th, 2020, the Board of Library Trustees authorized an amendment with Peter D. McElwain LLC for consulting services through July 11, 2020 at an amount of $55,000 in order to manage the library facilities master plan and Martin Luther King Jr. Branch capital project for the search for a new chief operating officer, CEO, and it is resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Cleveland Public Library authorizes the executive director, CEO, or his designee to enter into an amendment to the agreement with Peter D. McElwain LLC to extend through June 30th, 2021, provide capital project consulting services, in particular for the Martin Luther King Jr. branch, at the rate of $125 per hour for an additional amount of $24,375, including reimbursable, bringing the total contract to an amount not to exceed $160,375 to be charged to general fund account 1140053-53710 professional services, and which agreement shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs. So moved.
Second. Ms. Butt?
Y'all should try this.
Yes.
Mr. Seifela?
Yes.
Mr. Corrigan?
Good.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Mr. Shuffle, may I make a comment?
Yes.
Yes. We received a summary, which I thought was very, very good on MLK. And I don't know if every one of the board members received it. Because we asked if they have not, then we make sure that they get it. It gave me a lot to think about. And maybe
Anyone who just joined in,
MLK
we're at the
for a minute, we'll
Cleveland
get it.
Public Library Board meeting.
I just thought maybe all the board members could have it if they didn't have it.
I did not get that.
Very well done.
We'll forward the document to you.
Yeah.
And if not, I'll push you in the wheelchair. Okay, that'll be fine. I do want to mention that there was a meeting last night and Kevin Conley with Neighbor to Neighbor organization. And she was there, and she gave a very thorough and professional presentation on the status of the MLK branch, the new MLK branch. And it was received very well, and I think that all the information that they were looking for was presented. So, very good. All right. Do we? Exhibit 8, resolution announcing construction manager list for Phase 1B of the facilities master plan determined to be best value and authorizing agreements. Whereas on November 9, 2020 and November 23, 2020, the library placed an ad in the Cleveland Plaindealer requesting statements of qualification for construction manager list services in connection with Phase 1B of the facilities master plan, consisting of 6 branches estimated to cost approximately $20.4 billion. On December 14, 2020, the statements of qualifications were submitted to the library from the following construction manager firms: Alvin Higley Company, LLC, Turner Construction Company, Regency Construction Services, Inc., Consumer Construction Company, Cold Harbor Building Company, and Gilbane Building Company. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees hereby accepts the recommendation of the Evaluation Committee and announces the selection of the construction manager firm of Regency Construction Services, Inc. as the firm presented the pricing and technical proposal which represents the best value, and be it further resolved that Regency Construction Services, Inc., a female business enterprise, has demonstrated a robust commitment to diversity and inclusion, especially at a local level by assembling a diverse community, including a partnership with AKA Construction Management Team, a female business enterprise and minority business enterprise with strong community ties, and further be it further resolved that the board authorizes the executive director, CEO, as designates to enter into negotiations with Regency Construction Services, Inc. for construction management at risk master agreement and pre-construction phase work authorization agreements in accordance with the requirements of the Ohio Revised Code Section 9.334. If the library fails to negotiate a construction management contract with the Regency, then it shall proceed to negotiate a contract with the second highest ranked firm in accordance with Ohio Revised Code Section 9.334. And be it further resolved that upon completion of negotiation, the executive director is authorized to execute the master agreement and pre-construction phase work authorization with Regency Construction Services for pre-construction services for all branches except Memorial Nottingham in an amount not to exceed $116,000.
Those of you just now tuning in, we are at the Cleveland Public Library Board meeting
Fund account 402
in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm Reverend Pamela M. Pinckney Butts, the pastor of No Fear But God Fellowship Assembly Church Ministries, as well as Life Everlasting Missionary Baptist Church and many other church ministries.
Yes.
Mr. Cyclone. Yeah. Mr.
I'm
Horgan.
also a published
Yes.
author who has a book in the Cleveland Public Library entitled Choose Life,
Yes.
and it's also available on the marketplace through
And once again,
P&P
I want to express
Publishing.
I'm very happy to see
and
this resolution of what we're doing in terms of
I'm a
this
published
project,
author in many other
especially in
places
the area
as well.
of coercion.
and I do believe that the more you read, the more you succeed. And I do know that the need for paper books
everyone
will
involved.
never go away. We need to know how to turn the pages.
Exhibit 9, resolution to purchase mobile shelving upgrades for North Stokes Wing. Whereas Cleveland Public Library maintains a research collection consisting of more than 10 million items of local, regional, national, and international importance as one of the nation's top-tier public research libraries. Well, that's so many.
And I have some other entities in place called, one of them is Global Engagement Dissolving Violence Against Women and Children.
The executive director, CEO, as designated to negotiate and execute an agreement with Space Saver Corporation.
Feel free to join in.
OMNIA, only a partners.
If you want to join into the board meeting, you can go to www.cpl.org.
Of the Director of Legal Affairs,
more
no shelving
instructions.
upgrades
And
described
today
in
is the 18th day of March, 2021.
and in this resolution, without competitive
Thank you for
bidding
joining.
pursuant to ORC Section 9.48, for a total contract price not to exceed $478,035 to be charged to the building and repair fund 401. So moved.
Second. And if I can point out that, as we discussed at Finance Committee, this is an investment made 25 years ago, or more than 20 years ago anyway, that has come back to help us. Although the electronics for the space-saving shelving need to be redone because electronics have changed a lot in that time period, and there's more speed and safety available. This board in those days decided to invest in making sure that the upper floors of Stokes Wing could hold the weight of compact shelving and storage And as a result, although this contract is a lot of money, we are probably saving, I estimated anywhere between $4 and $5 million that trying to do it with new construction would be. And so it took obviously a long time for the investment to come to roost, but it has, and I just want to commend the past board and the staff for making sure that we took advantage of the investment we made when we built this building.
Ms. Butt?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclow? Yes. Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Hanson? Yes.
I've been
Ms.
attending
Thomas?
board meetings for
Yes.
some time now as
Mr.
well.
Parker?
These other
Yeah.
pastors who may be joining in now, you are
Mr.
welcome.
Chair,
and
this
I'm glad that you're joining
authorizing
in,
amendment to agreement
but let's
with
not do
Castor, Western, and Wilson
the
LLC for legal services.
elimination
Legal-
process.
Whereas
I'm glad
in
you are
2019,
getting
this board
involved,
authorized
but please let's not
Elaborate
do that.
Castor,
you know the game
Western,
you like to play.
LLC,
Let's not do that.
KWW,
You start off on a good foot this year,
each
y'all.
in an amount not to exceed $50,000 for legal services in connection with labor negotiations with the Labor International
I'm talking about male and female
American
pastors.
Local
I'm not just talking
860,
about me.
Insurance Employees International Union District 1199. Be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Executive Director, CEO, or his designee to enter into one or more amendments with Pastor Westman and Wilkins LLC for legal services related to labor matters on an as-needed basis at an hourly rate set forth in this resolution, on which expenditure shall be charged to general fund account 11510053-53710 professional services, on which agreement shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs and requires that the fiscal officer provide a report to the Board of Library Trustees of fees paid to Castor, Western, and Wilkins LLC on a quarterly basis. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butt?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclow? Yes. Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker? Yes. Exhibit 11, resolution to purchase radio system for Cleveland Public Library Safety and Protective Services. Whereas on October 18, 2012, the Board of Library Trustees authorized the library to purchase the necessary radios and accessories from Motorola Solutions needed to join multi-agency radio communication systems program. Officers marked in an amount of $71,536, and on May 21st, 2015, this board authorized the library to purchase an additional 11 radios and accessories at a total cost of $35,252.25. So be it resolved that the Board of Library Trustees authorizes the Executive Director or his designee to enter into a purchase agreement with Motorola Solutions, subject to approval of the Director of Legal Affairs, to purchase 14 radios with accessories in the amount of $44,497.67,
Pardon
with
me,
the
y'all.
expenditure being
I did a
charged
little
to
too
general
much
fund
that
account
time.
129-30055-555-550 equipment. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Butt?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclow? Yes. Mr. Corrigan?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker? Yes.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're live at the Cleveland Public Library Board meeting.
License agreements.
You can join in at
with City of Cleveland,
www.cpl.org
Facilities Master Plan.
if you want to know what's going on in our libraries.
2020, this board ratified and authorized.
And for those of you who don't know about the rehabilitation of the Woodland branch of the Cleveland Public Library, renovations are taking
the
place.
library had identified for acquisition
And,
for the new hub.
There are
Whether the
instructions
Rockport branches
in terms of what other options you have if that is an inconvenience to you. Just call the Cleveland Public Library at 1-216-623-2800 and they can give you more instructions and further directions and even give you some answers to your questions.
for the purpose of allowing the library and its contractors to access property identified to conduct due diligence and pre-construction work in preparation for acquisition of the first phase of the library's facilities master plan, which agreement shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs. So moved.
Second. Ms. Buck?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclone?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. Exhibit 13, resolution authorizing seventh amendment to agreement for security service with Royce Security Services, LLC. Whereas on January 21st, 2020, the library entered into an agreement with Royce Security Services, LLC, Royce, to provide contract security services for the library's branches on a month-to-month basis for a total contract amount not to exceed $25,000. Be it resolved that this board authorizes the executive director, CEO, or his designee to negotiate and execute an amendment to the contract with Royce Security Services, LLC, to provide supplemental security services on an as-needed basis and an hourly rate set forth in this resolution, and to extend the terms of the agreement through December 31st, 2021, with such amount to be charged to the general fund account number 1293053-53380, contracted security, and which amendment shall be subject to the approval of the Director of Legal Affairs, and requires that the fiscal officer provide a report to the Board of Library Trustees of fees paid to Royce Security Services, LLC, on a monthly basis. So moved.
Second.
Ms. Buck?
Yes.
Mr. Cyclone?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes.
Mr. Harrison?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas? And Mr. Parker?
Really? Somebody help her out. You called it for dinner. The rest of my report is fiscal officer's report, report A, the report on investments, report B, and the report on profit and salary expenditures, report C, and that concludes my report. Go to Resource Committee?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Before I start, I'm always putting jovial kinds of comments out. Some people take them right, some people take them wrong. But I really don't care because we read the song of Russ Parker. Russ Parker, if you turn around and look at your front behind you, I don't know what time you got on that front. I thought I was in the Twilight Zone so much. So when the county moves slow.
Amen to that one, I can say.
They'll get around to it at some point. Executive 14, Field Plus Library Employment Report. The only question I had is, we have so many people leaving all these companies, staff, and everything we need. Being because we're not there anybody. Let's go and speak to that. We are going to be calling on the board for some form of and the because of our staffing and our right over particular states, speaking the fact that we are wrapping up.
Yeah, you may recall as part of the hearing on the budget we went into what we call a crisis response. So we have not moved still many positions that have been making those particular crises. So we have been working with finance, and we have all of those vacancies, a lot of other positions come on the call. So you will see much more recruitment activity in March from COVID, and then we will also move to fill a couple of vacancies.
Just go to the East Response. So move for adoption, please. Second. Ms. Butler?
Yes.
Mr. Pipeline? Yes. Mr. Corrigan? Yes. Mr. Beaton?
This is an investment made.
Mr. Hairston? Yes. Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker? Yes.
Just how you get to it.
Resolution 15, Exhibit 15, resolution to reduction for resource manual, and we had some limited discussion, and we asked a question about the 6 point, talked to Lynn earlier, and I think he killed it.
So we're updating our driver's policy. In recent years, property and casualty insurance carriers, specifically those that insure on fleet, have moved away from identifying and specifying what is an acceptable driving record for employers. They shift that responsibility to the different employers. So this policy certainly kind of codifies some of our definitions in terms of regular and occasional drivers, but most importantly, it identifies that any CPL employee with more than 6 points on their license will not be permitted to drive a fleet vehicle. There was a question in finance in HR on Tuesday about how do those points kind of equate in terms of the state. And so at 6 points, the state issues a warning to anybody who gets that level of points. A license is not suspended until somebody gets 12 points, and that suspension is typically for 6 months. And then people can get points removed by either time elapsing, taking different courses that the newer motor vehicle offers, etc.
Does that happen then, I guess, with us? I know she said 6 points or more, but is that 6 points that we call attention to both, or they put on probation, or what? At 6 points?
Yes, we actually monitor people's driving records if they are considered a regular driver. And so if anybody is close to that 6 points, one of our staff members in property management does alert staff that they've either lost their driving privileges, police vehicles, or they're on the cusp of.
That doesn't mean they're fired.
Does not mean they're fired, they're just not able to drive a fleet vehicle without a license.
Any other questions from our lawyers?
Is there a library law speaking?
Hi, is this Hope?
Thank you, Lynn.
Hi. Hi. Is this Hope I'm speaking? Is this Hope again?
I'm sorry, what are you looking for?
Is this Hope?
This is in library law.
No, this is Reverend Pinckney Butts. I'm in the board meeting, and let the board members know that I would like to speak, please. And I see that they're doing the same thing again. We're starting off on the wrong foot, putting these men in front of me. They emphasize Pastor Gibson, who has never been to a board meeting, and they're ignoring me again. Tell them I want us to start off on the good foot this year, please. I don't want them to bring in another woman either, because they want to eliminate me because of this nonsense. So and I don't appreciate that, and I don't want to play that game. And ask Thomas Corrigan to give me.
I have nothing to do with all you're saying. I'm going to transfer you to someone with
Okay.
human resources.
No, pass me up to the board office, please.
Board? Okay, let me see if I can find that.
Yeah.
Implementation of this position of the
Hope is who I was speaking to this morning. I don't know. They still had this belief that women serve men. No, I'm not. I'm coming to the board meeting because of things I do not.
Yes.
Because of Pastor Gibson.
Yes, Mr. Corrigan. Yes.
He needs to do his own work.
Yes, Mr. Harrison. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to transfer you, okay?
Okay,
Hold on.
thanks. Uh-huh.
Welcome to Cleveland Public Library, the People's
And Mr.
University.
Parker. Yeah. Rest of my report, 6 times B, 6 times report D, employee demographics, report E, resource summary report, report F. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Harrison. We're now going to move into the community service report. Mr. Morgan, please.
Yes, there are no resolutions to vote on, but the regular monthly activity report, February 2021, is in the packet materials you received. This is the last month because of what happened in the longest year of my life, a year ago when COVID started. This is the last month that will show unusually large losses of regular activity that COVID didn't interfere with. So to give you some idea, total
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, let's transfer you again because nobody was in that office, so I'll transfer you to the other.
was 475,000, but in 2021 it was 265,000 in February, a 46% decline. But again, as you know, we're now going to have really low months that COVID first affected us, and then you'll see a return to normalcy as we go through the year, and our staff got good at curbside. That was going to be one of the things I wanted to point out in the report is that in streaming media, we've already got a 19% gain in the, as you probably know from the comments, Ohio Library of the Blind and Physically Disadvantaged, you probably saw the media coverage of that. There's been no change there, but a continuing increase throughout the year because we became even more important to the users statewide on that issue. But where was my
Yes, I'm here.
reference to the
Yeah, I just spoke to someone. They said they received your comment and they passed it on, and
curbside
that
services? To give you some
one of the
idea,
board members
for the month,
is going to contact you after the meeting.
20,000.
After the meeting, why not before? Why not during the meeting? I've been speaking during the meetings.
And
And on top of no. I want you to send them a message, whoever you spoke to. And why is passed? Why is no? I want you to send them a message, please. Ask them to call me. Okay, thanks.
Make sure the library is still a valuable resource available to members of our community. And of course, obviously, the electronic circulation, it just keeps going up because it became even more important as COVID made access more difficult for people throughout the city. In any event, that concludes the only report for the Community Services Committee, except to now go through the list of our usual. John, that's the building status update.
Thanks, Trustee Corrigan. I just want to draw everyone's attention to one item in the property
Hello?
management report, which is the second bullet on the maintenance annex.
Who am I speaking to, please?
Subscribers gone to the Reed Mount Pleasant branch.
Okay. This is Reverend Pinckney Butts, who's been coming to the board meetings for some time now.
So the two rooftop units
And
are essentially
let them know
the building's
that they're
furnished,
starting off on the wrong
interior
foot with me
was not
already this year,
impacted,
please.
And the property management team is very
The first thing is, I've been speaking at the board meetings,
or without air conditioning.
and this morning they discriminated against me by, some people believe that women do things to take care of men, but Pastor Gibson has not been coming to board meetings I have, and they keep putting these men and some other women before me and discriminating against me, and they did it again today. They won't put me in the Readers and Writers series. They won't do anything that has my book that's in the library to emphasize it, to give me support, but then they want to be patronizing towards me and pretend like they know me. I don't appreciate that at all. Pastor Gibson has to do his own work. I'm not his wife. I'm not his girlfriend. I'm not his slave. I'm not his flunky. And the way he treats me, he doesn't act like I'm his friend. And I don't appreciate them specializing or emphasizing one pastor and not respecting me and won't even make themselves available to me when I do make an effort to communicate with them. Let them know game is over. Trick no good. I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and sacrificing for this library, and I don't like the way they did, and they're starting out the wrong foot with me. Their attorney's going to need an attorney if they don't stop what they're doing. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I want to
you.
share on the
Bye.
library side of the project with redesign development of the design team. We are very nearly within budget, and I expect that some more good work will be there within the next, hopefully this week, but it's certainly very close to being on budget. And so pleased
design we have. So we're ready to move into construction now. On the developer side, yeah, let me ask you, was that, is that last night? It was, neighbors to neighbor. I'm not sure what electronic platform was. It was online. Yeah, it was online because I got a call telling me how great it was. Great. It was a positive call. So I don't know how we count the number of people that's online to find out, they're really taking advantage of it. But it was obviously a good presentation. Obviously, it was a good presentation, but I didn't know what it was. Okay. So maybe we can just find out how the city was more. So people are down there. People might know how many people are at the neighbor. I just want to know if it was online and how it was Zoom. That's what I thought. Yeah. And when I went on, there were about 18 people on at that point. Okay. I don't know how many people may have come on after it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So we're pleased with our design development. We're very close to budget. On the developer side, we're continuing to work on a revised developer agreement with internal and external counsel. Just this week, we received some additional financing information from our development partners. That's under review by council right now. And I'll come back within the next 1 or 2 months with an update on the status of the revised developer agreement. New issue I wanted to bring to the board's attention is South Brooklyn branch. Just to back up, South Brooklyn branch is the facilities master plan group 2 projects. It was envisioned in the FMP as a renovation with the potential partial addition and an original budget of $3.3 million. Library was recently approached by the Old Brooklyn BDC. They have a developer partner, First Interstate Properties, who are working on a mixed-use residential project on site adjacent to the branch. They have reached out to the library to join the project. This would be a joint use project, very similar to what we've seen with Waltz and MLK branch. It would be a ground lease and air rights. And essentially, the existing branch under this vision would be demolished and replaced with a brand new building. Very preliminary cost estimating on that. It might be in the ballpark of $6.5 million for the new building. The team suggested some financing arrangements.
Yeah, for those of you who are watching, I'm not angry, so don't even go there.
Capital chair.
Stating facts, not fiction. Although we're in a library board meeting.
We certainly committed to nothing. At this point,
Carol
we
Booker.
are stepping back.
Just so you know.
Our cost estimate.
People always want to act like I'm angry. No, I'm just speaking the truth.
And then evaluate budget options for the library. So at this point, I really just wanted to make an initial notification to the board that
whether I'm married or not married, that's nobody's business, and nobody has a right to discriminate against me because they don't see a man around me. And no, I don't do women. So just for those watching who have that in their minds, no,
I guess
I'm not.
we would need to see something in,
There are people who do that. That's not
to
what I do.
envision where they're planning on having something adjacent.
Nancy Gibson won't even return a phone call to me. So we pastors can get on the same page.
Jason, I mean, this is like
competition.
that's like a triangle where the
In the
streets
body
come
of
together,
Christ,
right?
which is ridiculous.
Correct. I can. I've got some renderings from the preliminary renderings from the developer. I can share the projected site plan. It's very preliminary, but
Yeah,
yeah,
his wife is
they're
behind
south
it.
of our
That
triangular
mess too.
site,
That's ridiculous.
including Tappan.
Woman won't even
So they're looking at
introduce
multi-story,
or want to
with
meet me, so
residential houses
she and I can do
over
some
the
things
library
together
in this-
as females.
And
All
the
this
Pearl
competition
Street side
is supposed to
is
be
where
Christians.
name south.
I don't have the street names in my.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you.
So we could share the renderings with you. I think we showed it to the board one time when they came here to speak to the board, and it looked really great. But you know, there's a lot more than looking really great to this issue. So I mean, it would be something that there's significant financial issues around it.
And before they just wanted a coffee shop kind of thing. I mean, it was nothing like this. They didn't want us to demolish and rebuild. Before.
Yeah. So you know, this is very different.
Yeah.
But it would be exciting. It would be a great project if we were able to find some input. So
Come on,
that's
Pastor
the
Thompson.
difference is
Pastor
where the
and
money's
Mrs.
gonna come
Thompson.
from. So as we evaluate it, we'll be more. But I'll have John send the
Good
rendering,
to see.
the
That's right.
rendering feed forward so that you can
Got
see
some
what it
folk
would look
got
like.
issues still
My thought is
with my
that it
being
would
a
be great
woman
The
preacher.
collaboration, but I know that you're anxious to
It's their problem,
get the
not
type of
mine. I wish they keep it to themselves.
an answer
Stop with the
questions for
nonsense.
us as far as financing for us to go in blindly submitting. But I agree, two direct. It was great, if we had the answers, but we just don't like.
Do it like this. This is what I do.
Well, we want to thank Trustee Parker for taking the time to really work through this with us. We had a call with them yesterday and kind of just let them know where we were.
They won't call me and talk to me.
Helping us with these
These
projects.
fellas is
kind of
crazy.
Some of the costs for the board.
I'm telling you.
So we appreciate that.
That would conclude the building or the building status update. I think, John, correct? Yep. So then, okay. Then we'll go to the advocacy task force update. Janice.
Sure. Thank you, Trustee Corrigan. Board, I just want to highlight two areas that my department has been focusing in on. It's really been the facilities master plan and the public library fund. You heard Trustee Cycla and my colleague John Lang speak about that meeting last night. John's department and our department have been working with City Council and County Council and the CDCs for two reasons. We want to make sure that they are informed about the construction that is happening in their area, and we also want to leverage their relationships with constituents so that they're present at our community engagement meetings. So our meeting last night was represented by the Conwells, and thank you, Trustee Seifel, for the report on how it went well, and we continue to do that good work to keep them informed. I will say that all the CDCs have been very supportive of ensuring that Co-Urbanize is also on their website. So when constituents come to their website, they can have real-time information on how these projects are going. The second thing is about the public library fund. You know that with the governor's first flush of that budget, we were at 1.66. Our state lobbying body, the Ohio Library Council, is recommending that be increased to 1.7%. And again, that equates to about $10 million per year for Ohio's public library fund. And that is our stance as well.
So I get a
We have
robocall
commenced meeting with state
to block me from the
legislators,
meeting.
and thus far they have
Crazy.
been very supportive of that. We do know that there are a couple of representatives in the House that have submitted amendments.
We're still live and in living color.
For the PLF to be at 1.7. So I'll be sure to keep you apprised of our efforts with that.
Well, I don't know that this applies to anything that we're thinking about doing, but I'm listening to the controversy that state of Ohio is having in regard to the recent money passed by the Harris, Biden-Harris people, billions of dollars coming into the state of Ohio. There's discussion around tax credits or taxes. There's another discussion around providing COVID. And I wonder if there's any chance with our lobbies that we can find a discussion around supporting institutions like we're having, that we have. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I just know that it is a major controversy right now. What are we going to do with the funds? So specifications on what you cannot do with.
Exactly. Trustee Harrison, I will tell you, I was on a recent call with United Way's Council for Agency Executives, and Michelle Pomeroy shared with us that the county will be getting upwards of $200 million from recent relief deals, and the city will.
How much will Mayor Jackson receive
I do
for the
have
city
a
of
call
Cleveland?
that I will be working with our
Mayor King for the city of
organizational
East Cleveland.
to talk about us getting some of that money. And I asked Michelle from a prioritization standpoint, how are you
Mayor
guys going to divvy that out. She
Blackwell,
said it
the city of
hasn't been
Maple
finalized
Heights, and
yet.
Mayor
However, if you want to look at
Sellers for Warrensville Heights.
that'll give you a good gauge for the CARES Act. So
How much that money will they receive from United Way to build up the predominantly black communities
on that end to help us work internally
from the United Way?
projects out there.
Yeah, jokes.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I guess Cuyahoga County Council
There you go.
allocate funding for that too. Since we are in the Cleveland Public Library board meeting, where Mayor Frank G. Jackson is denying
The foundation update,
Funding
Shane,
for
that
the
would
city
be
of
up to you
Cleveland.
too.
Sure, just 3 highlights. We are working, I think I shared with the board that now that the library has finalized
because of the melanin in his skin.
now the foundation board is working on its strategic business plan to decide out of those priorities where do we want to focus fundraising efforts. We do have a core team that we have assembled, and Trustee Corrigan is your representation on that work. In addition to that, we have voted in at the last foundation board meeting. The board members voted in 6 new board members. Those members are Dorothy Bannon from Digital City, Jeff Patterson from CMHA, Michelle Ungar from Progressive Insurance, Aaron Dimling from PNC, Katie Collin from the American Endowment Federation, and Brian Broden from Perspective Architects. I will say that we did vote in Superintendent Eric Gordon, but that is simply by virtue of office. That board seat does not have any voting privileges. But given the fact that we started as a full district library, and my colleague, Dr. Sadie Winlock and her team are doing such great work with
Dr. Sadie Winlock, who
with the school district,
has not kept her
the record
word
that it just made good
or
sense to
followed
have
up with
them.
communicating with me,
As well. And lastly,
as well as
we're
Dr.
gearing up
Shanice
efforts for
Johnson
our
Thomas.
Library Giving Day. This is our 3rd year in doing that.
This
That's
is
when
so
all libraries, public
crazy to
libraries
me. It's
across
so
the country,
hypocritical.
one day on
And I
April
still
7th,
do what I'm
to
supposed
raise
to
money
do.
for the great work that public libraries are doing. And so you'll see a lot of stuff coming out on that day. I encourage you to support your foundation, which in turn supports our libraries, and more to come. But Trustee Corrigan, would you like to add anything? You were recently on the board.
I would just reemphasize what I said the last time. After long efforts and multiple consultants and everything else, I have never felt as good about the foundation or the Old Friends organization as I do currently.
Guess it's like the
board is
same as the
growing
good
in
old boys club
complexity,
too.
diversity, and skill. The degree to which they understand the challenges we face is vastly improved, and they really have a committed group there, and I'm very, very
Oh,
proud of where we're
PNP
heading with
Publishers
the
can be reached
foundation.
at
When I
1-216-302.
eventually go off this board, I
9665.
intend to be very active with the foundation.
If you want to get any copies of my books that I have written.
That's
Author
all I
published.
have. Should I?
Amazon's been selling my book.
Could you give us
Barnes
a
and
little
Noble's
bit
been
more
selling my
information about
book,
the library
and some others have been
giving
selling
day?
my
Seems like it's
book,
really right around
Choose
the corner.
Life.
Yeah,
And I have not received
could
one
go
dime of the
or
proceeds.
prepare ourselves and our friends and family what they need to do on
There's
a
4 others, or
hour.
2 others that have been selling. There's 4 altogether that I've noticed so
We
far.
will be working with,
And Amazon had the nerve to cut the price of my book.
We have a toolkit.
And
that we
change
share
the
out for you,
cover
but it really boils
when
down
they
to
felt
2
like it.
things. We'd like for you to make a pledge to the foundation, and
A
we'd like
really good
you
attorney
to
would be really
share
good for me right
on your
about
social
now.
media network about Library Giving Day. And so for the
My
latter,
other
trustees,
books are
Madam
also
President, we
available.
will work with
Prodigal Protocol, which is in the United States
social
courts,
media toolkit. It's all online. It's all online.
and in
So
Oprah
we will
Winfrey's
definitely
library,
And of course, our
where she
main
did some
website
shows
will
based
have
upon that.
reference to it as well as the foundation
And
website. So,
The Passages of
on
Pamela,
that
which
day,
is
you
in
won't
the
be able
United
to
States
avoid
Library of
seeing that
Congress,
it's happening.
and From
That's
Riches
right,
to
that's the
Rags,
goal.
the cost of reporting abuse.
Dr. Shanice.
And you can get these
That's fair.
I'll call you because
authored and published books by me,
I don't think everybody knows.
from PNP Publishing.
You jump to it.
1-216-302-9665. The Cleveland Public Library has the Choose Life book in the library on the shelves. Keeps disappearing for some reason, but it does exist. Oh, but they refuse to put me in the Readers and Writers series.
My question is, I know that you had a project with purchasing towels. How did that come along?
Yes. So our goal was, this was the first time going out in over 20 years. So our goal was 10,000, and I believe we raised 14,000.
They decided to pay somebody to come in from out of town, where they would have to pay their accommodations instead of having me, who's already here, attending board meetings,
So what we're doing as we
to
begin to roll
be
out the
the
public
keynote speaker
happening at our
for the anniversary.
MLK, but our
That's right.
branch,
A prophet
we
is
will be
not without honor,
incorporating,
saving
working
his
with
own
John's
country and his
team,
own hometown.
the
Or
option for
prophetess and her
patrons and individuals to purchase tiles at those branches themselves. So I did lose sight of that.
Brother Harold,
We'll be integrating that in our work. So we did very
a
well.
lot has happened since you left East Mount Zion Baptist Church.
Yes, thank you.
Harold Booker.
Thank you.
And I will turn to Dr. Winlock and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion update.
Though, Dr. Winlock, don't forget, you have not kept your word to me. This is Reverend Pinckney Butts.
Yes, very briefly, I think last month we talked a little bit about our supply of diversity council and our desire to really build on our process around procurement. And I'm very pleased to say that our internal supply of diversity council, with the support of trustees, our project has come up with a process that we believe that we can really engage minority businesses. We're hoping that next month we'll be able to present.
While I'm live, who is a minority? Because the people of color are not a minority, so who are the
We're
minorities?
trying our very best.
Women are not the minority, so who are the minorities?
In the community to support the library. So,
Reverend Dr. Jeremiah Wright, I got
That
them
would conclude
hoodwinked
the
and
Phoenix Church's
bamboozled,
report, Madam President.
deceived.
Thank you so much.
The
We do
area
not have
elect.
any old or new business, so we're going to move to the director's report. Dr. Thomas, please.
Thank you. So you have the director's report, but there are some special additions. I
Maybe she
want to
sees
add.
herself as a minority. I'm not.
Just to let everybody know that we've been doing a lot of work to help
Jesus
people,
Christ.
as far as
And me,
getting
with the
vaccinated.
majority not
And
to
the
minority.
staff done a wonderful job
Woo.
around COVID. As we
Plus the
open up
melanin
for
in my
second
skin.
support, to let the board know that
Ask me
one
what
of the
they-
things we're doing is providing bus passes at all of our branches. Thanks to compliments of the county health department, each of our branches has 25 bus passes that community members can come and give to the library. They're all-day passes just to make sure that anybody who wants to get either downtown or to wherever
That's a
they
good
have to go to a vaccination site,
Since they put Reverend Lucas on there,
one of the
Cleveland
major
Public Library Board.
it's stopping people from being able to get there. So we have the situated. Also, FEMA workers are at 5 of our branches, the South Brooklyn Wall, Rockport, MLK, and Harvey branches, camping out front, signing people up to get them appointments. And they're at our right branch inside station.
You may want to check out
signing
FEMA
people up
before you
for
get
vaccine
involved with that.
So all those things are really just appreciative of staff working to make sure that got done. And we're doing everything we can do to be supportive of making sure people can get vaccinated. Also, we work with the Ohio Department of Health. So we're distributing Abbott, Binance, now Rapid at Home COVID-19 test kits out of our downtown library. So if somebody wants to pick up a test, they can just go through the drive-thru and they can get a test to do that. They're 15-minute tests at home that folks can do. And so once again, we're just trying to do our part and be the connector for folks who need assistance in any way we can. And
COVID-19.
that will end my report. If you want to say
I'm still waiting for our meeting director.
But we do have actually some public comments, which I will, they submitted online, and I will read off. One is regarding the loud accelerator drivers, and comes from one of our useful guests at our regularly board meetings, Stephen Kennanovic. He talked about the accelerator hand dryer. And
I wonder when
the
he was
loudest
coming to
hand
regular
dryer
board
ever
meetings.
invented.
Who is he?
That's why the
He
downtown
hasn't been there when
library
I've been there.
just still have one
Guess
driver
he's-
without the accelerated drive.
white so
At
that
the
puts them
branch
first and makes
libraries
them
where
right.
they have the accelerated driving.
And I'm not ready to just,
the
racism isn't coming from me, it's coming
With
from
only one
them.
person at a time inside the restroom.
Let's see
Inside
if they
the
read
single
my comment.
occupant restroom, the loud dryer only comes on if you choose to use it. Also, the hand sanitizer pump should be terminated at the library. Remember, I still patronize updated technology,
Sheesh.
such as
I
CRT.
believe I was
and
being
vital
punished
records
for being a
book
female.
report. I am a 46-year-old man, so that's kind of the comment from Mr. Stevens. And as always, we will look into that to see where we're going with that. Thank you, Stephen. The next one is from the Reverend Pamela M. Pinckney-Butts. And again, these are all comments that have been submitted to the board, and I will be reading them verbatim. I would like to be heard at the public comment time. Do not put those men before me or those other preachers just now getting involved. I heard you gave Pastor Gibson special attention. Please do not start with any of that or any other pastor's female either. You've left me out of the Readers and Writers series again. Let us begin on a good foot, please. End of comment. So those are two regular comments that were submitted to the board today, and I do appreciate Reverend Pinckney. Thank you so much for submitting, and for Stevens as well.
I love you
and
all,
at this time, I
but we
do
gotta
not
do
see
it
anything
right.
that was submitted online. Those were submitted through the CPL website. But if you want to join
And I thank
in
them for
the
reading it. They didn't have to do that.
conference, you can also submit
But
your
they did.
questions and answers through there, and we will also be answering them. Okay? Go ahead, Director. You have another comment.
Yeah, the last thing is I take every advantage I could possibly do to embarrass one of our leadership team members, and it is time to embarrass Terry, whose birthday is Saturday.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
So, I love that. It's that. And it is special birthday.
Happy birthday.
Other than that, thanks, Terry. Happy birthday. The silver cup? Enjoyable days, dear. Enjoy your day. Have a birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday. If there's no other comments or issues, questions, we will be adjourned. Meeting adjourned. 1:13.
Very good meeting.
All rights reserved for this and all
Very
videos.
good meeting. Yep.
A question from Marina about
MP
something that just popped up
Publications.
on the chat.
Reverend Pamela and Pinckney Butts.
Happy birthday, Carrie. That's what I posted.
There's a question regarding the
demolition materials. Demolition materials. SMP. SMP.
So, anytime the facilities master plan.
Okay.
So I think we'll talk to her. She just wants to know if we're going to, when we break up the stuff or on a building or whatever, are we going to hold on to it or what are we going to do with it?
Some of those old bricks I would love.
Yeah, I think she's trying to,
Speaking of the same thing?
they could use some of it for her, at her library.
Yeah.
Marina, I think, would like to use some of this stuff. So,
Some of the stuff that I think a lot of times too, people in the neighborhood, might want to keep it as a remembrance. I know when they tore down my old elementary school, I went over there and I have a brick to this day from the school.
yeah, there you go.
There's a lot more for the old bricks than the new bricks. People that make money on them really.
That's not
Thursday, the 18th of
So
March,
that's a good idea,
2020.
Marina.
Cleveland Public
we'll bring that.
Library
A lot of neighbors
Board
would
meeting
like
in
that too.
Ohio.
I don't
It's
know,
in
Shanice
Cleveland,
is on the
Ohio.
call, so, just.
Have a blessed day, everyone.
Yeah, I'm here.
And we're heading
So Marina's task was
in the right
what's being
direction.
done with the bricks and wood and
And I
everything
pray
left
that
over.
this COVID
So I think she's looking at it more from the standpoint of
situation
like, they use some of the bricks
comes to
at her
closure
library
very
in the
soon.
back, that they build and stuff back
I
there.
pray that the
But
pandemic
it is
ends
a
soon as
opportunity
well.
if people want to
The violence
get some of those bricks and
And then panic. The fear
remembrance or something.
and the anger.
Yeah, I know I have mine, and I'm talking about it at our meeting.
I pray that we
I'll keep you
come
posted.
together in
Okay, very good.
one accord, on one accord, both Lady and Lord. You be blessed and have a great day. Don't forget to get copies of my books. And if you have some concerns
Oh, yeah,
of
mine are looking like
learning to read and write, you may also contact me as well.
How long is that?
Because remember that the more you read, the more you succeed.
He's thinking I got this pad.
That's all right.